Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Hare Krishna Vaishnava, Sari Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Nice, so nice to see you every week. We met a few days ago with the San Antonian devotees in our very nice preaching center we have here in San Antonio. And so today we are going to study from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I have a few questions already lined up, 4 actually. So we should not exceed too much time in reading because we must answer the questions. And I'll tell you these questions so that you will grow, what do you say?
In anticipation.
Right. Someone asked me, don't ask me who, I don't know. The name in Sanskrit of the planets of the universe, the main planets. So I'm going to tell you. Then a little description of Krishna's beauty. Then the story of Laddu Gopal. And then Radhatila, which is a very, very nice place in Vrindavan. I will tell the pastime. So we are going to have a lot of fun, transcendental fun tonight. Okay, then let's start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Before reciting this Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God, Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta praye svabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevayam bhagavati uttama shloke patir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. A loving service unto the personality of Godhead, which praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtatyate Satadine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome everybody, both to those who are present in this video conference and to those who are following us on Facebook, and also to those who will see this conference, watch and hear it in the following days. We have arrived to the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 7th chapter, the verses are number 18. As tradition, I will read the first verse, which has a couple of nice stories, short lilas that I will tell. And then Bhatta Andy can continue reading, so to say, my eyes, which I, I read too much and sometimes I get tired. Tam apatantam sa vilaksha durat kumara udvignavana ratena paradravat prana paripsururvyam yavat gamam rudrabhayat yatakaha. Aswatthama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot. 1:7:18. This is the number of the verse. Aswatthama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjuna coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic-stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. So here Srila Prabhupada, although nobody would notice, especially in the West, who knows the difference between Arka or Ka, But Srila Prabhupada thought to teach us that we had to be careful because Sanskrit is not meaningless. One word or another, it may mean a lot. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport saying that some version of the Bhagavata doesn't say ka, but doesn't say yata ka, but yatar ka. Okay, so the difference is big because ka by himself, or kaha, means Brahma. So ka means Brahma, and once become allured by his daughter, because the verse is saying that that Aswatthama was running, he was afraid, he wanted to save his life, just as Brahma fled in fear from Shiva. But if it is Arka, then it is a sun god. Arka means sun god, Surya. So Srila Prabhupada says that Brahma one time became allured by his daughter. He began to follow her. And she was very beautiful. And Brahma wanted her. And this fact that Shiva became very angry at Brahma because Brahma was not supposed to fall down in this way. And otherwise, it will give a great harm to everybody. Because if even Brahma cannot contain his sex urges, what to speak about us. So Shiva wanted to chastise Brahma and attacked him with his trident, and Brahmaji fled in fear of his life. So just like Brahma fled from Shiva, Aswatthama was fleeing from Arjuna, coming at him. If Yataka is Yatarka, then it's another story. And there is the story is in the Vamana Purana, where he said that there was a demon by the name of Vidyamali who had a golden airplane. And this airplane was so glowing that he wanted to be a second sun. So what he did, he put himself behind Surya, so the night disappeared. Because either Surya illuminated the world or Vidyamali was illuminating the world. And this, again, Shiva didn't like this at all, So, the sun god became angry because Vidyamali wanted to take his service. He destroyed his chariot. And Lord Shiva was angry by what sun god did because that chariot, Shiva had given the demon this chariot. So the sun god had no right to destroy something given by him. In this case, Lord Shiva attacked the sun god who fled away, and at last he fell down Akashi, Kashi is a city still existing in India, which is the city that we all know as Varanasi. And this place became famous as Lokarka. Lokarka means the place where the sun god came, chased by Lord Shiva. So as you can see, Srila Prabhupada was very precise. And since there were these two, rendition, Yatakaha or Yatarkaha. I just add a difference, but it may mean a lot. Okay, so this is two pastimes that you got from the very start. Can you please read from the verse 19?
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Did you understand the story and why Srila Prabhupada made this comment? It was clear?
Well, my understanding was just without the distinction, we can get confused with who it is that we're talking about.
Well, Ashwatthama was fleeing. And so in the Bhagavatam, there is Ashwatthama was fleeing like Brahma or like Surya. So Srila Prabhupada told the two stories. If the example meant Brahma, this is the story. If the example meant Surya, this is another story. You got it? A little bit complicated, maybe. Okay, forget it. Let's go on.
No, it makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada was not Srila Prabhupada, it's the Bhagavatam, which in this case was saying just like Brahma or just like Surya. Okay.
Oh, Bhakti Rosalind had a question.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my reverences, obeisances, and with all glory for Srila Prabhupada. It's more of a comment, I guess, than a question. Are we to see here that the crime of being a murderer, and are we to see the similarity with the crime of the illicit sexual desire? Because he's fleeing just as Brahma fled. So these sins must be in some way equal.
Depends who you are, because sometimes a minor sin can destroy an entire society. If you are Brahma, even a Brahma cannot control his sexual desire. He's going to destroy the whole universe, because then nobody is going to try again to control his sexual desire, because they would say, look, Brahma did this to his own daughter. So everybody would say, then I can have sex with my daughter, just like Brahma. That's why Shiva, who is the greatest Vaishnava, or the Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, that means that the Lord Shiva is the greatest Vaishnava of the universe. And he said, no, you cannot do this. Sex is okay for procreation. It's not okay for enjoyment. Because enjoying sex means that you're going to identify more and more with your body. That I am a man, I'm enjoying, then what's wrong with my body? I'm enjoying it. But this is not the end of life. The end of life means that I want to go away from this body. I want to go back in the spiritual world. So if Brahma did something like that, this is very serious. It could be even worse than Ashwatthama killing, trying to kill the sons of Draupadi, or killing the Panchala during the night after the battle of Kurukshetra finished, etc. So surely Brahma is more important than Ashwatthama. That's why Shiva took it very seriously. So if someone is important, just like a very important devotee, like a spiritual master, if a spiritual master does anything like that, Shiva is going to destroy him, because it's important. spiritual masters who falls down destroys the lives of his disciples. So he cannot do it. Just not. That's the teaching here.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, then let's go on.
When the son of the Brahmana, Ashvatthama, saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra, nuclear weapon.
Yes, he understood, he realized he couldn't get away with what he did. He killed the 5 sons of Draupadi, and not only, he killed Draupadi's brother, Drishtadyumna. He killed Shikandin, who also was some kind of brother to Draupadi, and he killed so many people during the sleep. Who does this? This is not right. This is not not Kshatriya culture. This is not culture whatsoever. Just like we commented what's happening now in this world. If you want to make a war, you make a war with warriors. You don't bomb cities. If you bomb cities, then you are not a warrior. You are just a demon. And also you are not a warrior if you send other people to fight for you. Bhishma and Drona didn't stay in their offices during Kurukshetra. They were just right in front. So it's very easy to organize war if you don't go to fight the wars. So this is Kali Yuga at its worst. And Ashvatthama didn't do anything different. Well, maybe a little better. At least he killed warriors, but in their sleep. And this is unforgivable. And that's why Draupadi said, I want that man killed. And Arjuna said, yes, I will. Then Ashvatthama saw that he couldn't escape. And then he feared for his life. He killed, but he doesn't want to be killed. This is something that is just unbearable. If you kill, you have to be ready to be killed. Then he thought the only weapon that I have that can protect me is a Brahmastra. It's a kind of nuclear weapon. So he was ready to use it, although this Brahmastra, it is prohibited to be used in the world of man. This is a weapon for upper planets, for superior planets, not for this Earth, because you can destroy the whole planet with that, much more than any nuclear weapon we have here. Then we'll see how the story develops, but there is a word here that I would like to comment. We'll spend a minute to that it Dwich Atmaja. Atmaja. Ja is like Jama, means birth. You are born. Dvija. Dvija means second born. Means you have 2 births in this life. The first is when you occupy this world, this body. And the second, when you take initiation. On the day of initiation, you become a Dvija. Dvi, dos, 2, and Ja, means born. So Dvija is a very important word because it means that you are initiated. So initiated that you are an important man now. Okay, so Ashvatthama was supposed to be a Dvija because he was the son of Dronacharya. Dronacharya was one of the most important teachers and spiritual masters actually in the world, and he was himself qualified also. It just became degraded. Otherwise, Ashvatthama was a very respected and respectable person. And then but he lost his sense because of hate. He wanted to revenge his father being killed. Not dishonestly,
not fairly,
unfairly, by by Drishtadyumna. And then he wanted to avenge also the way that Bhishma was killed, also not very fairly, because if you put in front of you somebody that he doesn't want to hurt, like in the case of Shikandin, couldn't, Bhishma Deva would never harm Shikandin. Why? You know the story. Anyone who has read the Mahabharata knows the story. The Shikandi was the incarnation of Amba. Amba was a Kashi princess, and he didn't want to marry the Vichitravirya. And he asked because she loved another man. So Bhishma brought him to Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya said, "Okay, you can go." But when she tried to go to the man she loved and who loved her, the man said, "No, I cannot marry you because you saw me defeated, and a man should not be seen defeated by his wife." This is the principles of Vedic culture. And so again, Amba went back to Vichitravirya. Vichitravirya said, "No, I cannot marry a woman whose heart doesn't belong to me." Then she asked Bhishma, "Now I am without a husband. I will never have a husband after the story like that. So you had to marry me." And Bhishma said, "No, I cannot, because took the vow of brahmacharya." And then Amba decided to kill Bhishma, to punish him for having ruined his life. And eventually, it's a long story, she took birth in the Draupada's family and became a warrior named Shikandin. And Bhishma knew that Shikandin was Amba. He felt culpable, guilty. He felt guilt for having ruined a life. Said, "No, I will not. Even if you strike me, I will not do it. You do what you want with me. You deserve it. You deserve your revenge." So the last day, which is the 10th day of the Mahabharata, the Kurukshetra war, all the Pandavas with Arjuna at the end attacked Bhishma. And Bhishma did not strike. And they kept the Shikandin in front of them. So Bhishma was fighting, but he was very careful not to harm Shikandin. At the end, Arjuna could kill him eventually. Bhishma didn't die during the war after, but this is another story. So Ashwatthama was a good Brahmana, actually, very respectable, but then he wanted revenge. And when you are angry, you do things that you will never do when you are not under the intoxication of revenge. So here Srila Prabhupada says that the idea of using the Brahmastra was totally unacceptable, not only because this Brahmastra should never be used in the world of men, but also because Ashwatthama didn't really know how to use it. Ashwatthama knew how to launch it, but he didn't know how to retrieve it. So he didn't care about destroying the whole planet, and he thought of using the Brahmastra. And now we are going to see what happens next.
Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns for throwing nuclear weapons, although he did not know how to withdraw such weapons.
Yes, as I said a bit ago, he knew how to launch it, but he didn't know how to retrieve it. And why he didn't know how to retrieve it? Because his father, Dronacharya, didn't trust him. He taught the Brahmastra only to Arjuna, because he knew that Arjuna was qualified to have a weapon like this. So he knew how to launch it because he heard it from his father while Dronacharya was instructing Arjuna, without Dronacharya knowing that Ashwatthama was listening. It was like hearing, high dropping, I would say that.
Eavesdropping.
He's dropping.
Mm.
And he didn't know. But he had only how to launch it. He didn't know how to try it. And then we are going to see what happens next. Oh, yeah, I wanted to say also that most of the weapons used on Kurukshetra were not, maybe I won't say most. Let's say that a lot of weapons used in Kurukshetra were driven by mantras, and they were normal arrows or normal knives or normal maces or normal clubs, this kind of thing. But also there were these great Maharajas, which means somebody who can fight alone against 60,000 enemies, who knew how to use the weapons, guiding them by mantras. So this nuclear war, this nuclear weapon, the Brahmastra, was guided by the mantra of Brahma. That's why it was called Brahmastra, the weapon of Brahma. So he touched water, because you always have to touch water, it purifies your body before doing anything important. And then he prepared to use the Brahmastra.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I had a question then. If, like you said, I'm still familiarizing myself with all the personalities of like the Mahabharata, and so if, as you were saying, like Ashvatthama was like respectable, then why wasn't it that his father taught him, or why wasn't it that his father trusted him?
According to the judgment of Dronacharya, he was not really, and there is a reason, I will tell you in a few seconds, that he was able to control his anger. There was Ashvatthama's defect. And the reason why he wasn't able to control his anger is that he was a partial incarnation of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, he gets angry. Someone who has to destroy the universe, he has to, during some course of his life, has to get angry. You don't destroy the universe laughing. So Ashvatthama, Dronacharya knew very, very clearly that his son was not able to always control his anger. That's why he didn't teach him. Just like Dronacharya knew very well that Karna was not able to control his jealousy because he was envious of Arjuna. That's why he didn't teach the Brahmastra. To know the Brahmastra, Karna had to go to Parashurama. If you read the Mahabharata, you will find this. That's why we publish the Mahabharata, because when you read the Bhagavad, you don't know who is who. But if you read the Mahabharata, you will know who is who.
Thank you. Okay. Text 21. Thereupon, a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. And so he began to address Lord Sri Krishna.
Yeah, such a powerful warrior. He thought only Krishna can protect me. This is how a devotee thinks. The devotee doesn't think, oh, I'm Arjuna. I also can use the Brahmastra. I can counterattack this Brahmastra. I can control it. I can do anything. I'm the most powerful warrior in the world. Basically, he was, well, one of the greatest. Immediately thought, Krishna, please protect me. Now we are going to see the prayers of Arjuna, asking Krishna, please protect me.
Arjuna said, "O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only.
This is a beautiful verse. Now I want to read it in Sanskrit because it's so beautiful. Krishna, Krishna Mahabaho, Bhaktanam Abhayankara, Tvam Eko Dayamananam, Apavargosi Samsmite. Apavarga. Apavarga means a path of liberation. Only you can give me this. And, you know, Krishna Mahabaho, the most powerful. And when a devotee is in fear, then he is the right person to call. Bhaktanam Habayankara, which means a devotee asks you for help in the moment of difficulty. Tvam eko dayamananam. You, Tvam, alone, eka means one, only you. Dayamananam, those who are suffering, and then because they're suffering, they're looking for the path of liberation, apavarga, asi samsvite, in the midst of material miseries. Beautiful, beautiful verse. Okay, let's go on.
You are the original personality of Godhead, who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge.
Yeah, this verse is quite clear. You know, even when he comes in this material world, he actually is not in the material world because he's always surrounded by spiritual energy. So, and because he has nothing to do with this material world, or I should say that the material energy never touches Krishna. He never comes in contact with this material world. Even when he comes in the material world, he's not in the material world. And because of this, he and all those who have transcendental knowledge are always situated in eternal bliss, in transcendental knowledge. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question, Guru Maharaj.
Yes.
Even for those that don't recognize Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, but they say, I think in the in the wrestling, the wrestling pastime, that I haven't read it. I just have heard that how it's described, how the different people in the stands or in the facility or whatever it was called, how they all were seeing Krishna in like different ways. And so even for someone who doesn't recognize him as like the supreme personality of Godhead, they think they're seeing Krishna, his actual him, but they don't know that he is that. Is there still an effect on them? Like, is there still some kind of like, I don't know, purification or something happening, even though they don't recognize him in that way?
There is purification always, even if you are offensive, because if you see Krishna and you don't recognize him, you think that he's a flutist, or that he's a child, and or that he's attracted to young girls going to dance in the Yamuna, or these kind of things. So then he's not the personality of God that cannot do these things, because you don't understand what is a personality of God. You know, because the religious concept of the world is so gross that they think that God is a creator. That's all. And what happens when you go to heaven? What happens? I don't know. You know, they don't know what happens in the spiritual. They don't understand how the spiritual world is formed, what happens in the spirit, how we are going to live eternally in the spiritual world. So although you can be even offensive to Krishna, there is some purification. Of course, the purification that as devotee receives is much higher than those who are not devotees, or even those who are contrary to God. We are seen as a Shishupal, Kamsa, and all the other demons during the story of the Mahabharata. They receive liberation, but not liberation in the spiritual world. Well, yes, in the spiritual world, but not Krishna Loka. They merged in the physical light of the Lord. And when a sinful soul merges into the light of the Lord, they become cleansed completely. Everything gets erased, and you begin from zero. You know, and but you don't go to Krishna Loka. To go to Krishna Loka, it is necessary to be a bhakta, to be a devotee, to be in love with Krishna. Otherwise, you don't. Okay, let's continue.
Thank you. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the 4 principles of liberation characterized by religion, and so on for the ultimate good for the condition of the conditioned souls.
So what this verse means? That means that there are 4 stages in which all the conditioned souls, like us, has to go through to get liberated. It is the gradual path that everyone should go through. They are called Artha, what's that? Artha, Kama, Dharma, and Moksha. That means that first of all, one has to learn to live in the material world, but as a gentleman, not as a demon, not as an animal. Are we supposed to enjoy this body? Yes, we do. But there are ways to do it. And then if you do it in the Vedic way, by following the Vedas who say what you can do and how you can do, and if you can do, in what situation you can do it, and other situation you cannot do it, you know, then you get purified gradually. You know, you become better man. You become a clean man. You become you become a gentleman. Okay, and then because you follow the rules and regulation, then you become purified. It becomes to desire for liberation, and at the end there is moksha. Moksha is not the ultimate, how you say, the ultimate goal of life, because moksha means liberation. But liberation where? You get liberated to go where? Then, and this is the 4 goals of any civilized society, which is called the Varnashrama society, or the Vedic indication of what to do according to your social position and your spiritual position, you know. And after that, moksha, okay, I get liberated from the desire of this material world. And then what happens? I am with no material desire, and then should I live without pleasure? Of course not. It is impossible. You must have some pleasure, because it's our nature to have pleasure. Then the bhakti, the bhakti teaches us how to receive a spiritual pleasure. The spiritual pleasure is what we had to do after moksha. Bhakti is after moksha, not before. Okay, so we have another verse and then we have to answer to the questions.
Thus, you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you.
Yes, he comes in this material world, although he doesn't need to come. Although he, because he's transcendental, so he doesn't need anything, but he comes and behave like a son, like a prince, like a lover, like a husband, etc., because he has to teach us how to behave as son and this and that. So he gives us example. Okay, so this is very important to receive example from great personalities, so that we can follow the right path. That's why there is a verse on the Srimad Bhagavatam who says, now that you are gone, after Krishna disappeared from this, now that you are gone, where are we going to find the principles of religion? It's a nice verse that one day we're going to study. I think we studied, I think we already studied this verse. So, because he wants to teach us how to do, he comes in this world in different incarnation, because he wants to give us different type of example of teachings and benefit his friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. So you want to be helped by Krishna, you become a devotee. And what it means to be a devotee, this is what we are talking about. Everything we do is about teaching people how to be devotees. Very nice. So I think I had to go through now I had to go through the questions that I received. Then they are, where are they? Okay, first of all, someone asked me, and I'm going to repeat these 4 questions in Italian tomorrow, after tomorrow, and in Spanish. Okay, so I'm sure you will not get bored if you hear the same thing twice. So according to the, let's say, the Vedic calendar, the week does not start Monday, but starts Sunday. Sunday is the first day. Sunday, which is, we know what Sunday means, it's the day of the sun. So the sun is called Surya. So Mercury is a Buddha. There is a story about Buddha in the Mahabharata, and I'm going to one day to see it. Then there is Venus. Venus is the planet of Shukra, so it's called Shukra. And Shukra is a spiritual master of the demons. So Venus is called Shukra. Then Jupiter. Jupiter is also called a Guru, because Jupiter is the planet where Brihaspati, which is the Guru of the Devas, lives. Then there is the Earth. Earth is Bhumi. Sometimes it's called Medinidaratam also, and other names. Then there is Mars, which is called Mangala, or Krija, or Angaraka. Then there is Saturn. Saturn is called Shani. Shani is also another personality, another Deva. There is a very nice story about Shani. Also, this planet is called Manda. And then there is Pluto, and Pluto is the planet of Yamaraj. Is the goddess, not the goddess, it's the Deva of death and justice. So Surya, Buddha, Shukra, Guru, Bhumi, Krija, Shani, and Yama. Sun, Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Earth, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto. It's okay? Okay, then second question is about what is Krishna's beauty. There is I will recite one verse only, just to have a description, which you find in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 10. The body of Krishna, the ocean of the eternal beauty of youth, can be seen to move in waves of beauty. There is a whirlwind at the sound of his flute, and those waves and that whirlwind make the hearts of the gopis flutter like dry leaves on trees. And when those leaves fall down at Krishna's lotus feet, they can never rise up again. There is no compare with Krishna's, for no one possesses a beauty greater than or equal to his. Since he is the origin of all incarnations, including the form of Narayana, the goddess of fortune, who is a constant companion of Narayana, gives up Narayana association and engages herself in penance in order to gain the association of Krishna. Such is the greatness of the super excellent beauty of Krishna, the everlasting mind of all beauty. It is from that beauty that all beautiful things emanate. This is very beautiful passage from teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Then there is Laddu Gopal story. So what is the Laddu Gopal? It's a deity. Krishna kneeled with something in his hand. Okay. Then I will tell the story today. I will tell the story because we have Laddu Gopal in our house. You know? Then I think that since Ishwar is here and she is the Pujari of Laddu Gopal, I think she will be pleased to hear the story. The meaning of Gopal is cow herder, from go, cow, and pala, protector. Worshipping Balagopala in the form of a baby at home is a practice in most Hindu homes. The deities of the house is believed to be one of the family members. Therefore, the deity must be cared for in the same way that a family member would be cared for. And there is a story behind calling him Laddu Gopal. Long ago, there lived a worshipper of Lord Krishna named Kumbhanadas in the holy land of Agra. He had a son called Raghunandana. Kumbhanadas had a murti of Lord Krishna with a flute in hand, and he used to worship all the time, every day. He never used to leave his place, so he wouldn't miss worshiping Lord Krishna. But one day he had been invited to preach the Bhagavata Katha in a garden in Vrindavan. Kumbhanadas initially refused to accept the invitation, but the people compelled him to consider the invitation. Kumbhanadas explained to his son the ritual for offering bhoga to Lord Krishna before he left to preach Bhagavata Katha. He prepared the bhoga before going to Vrindavan to preach. Raghunandan, after his father's departure, placed a plate of bhoga in front of Lord Krishna and began to pray to him, "Please eat it." So the child asked Krishna, "Please eat it." After Lord Krishna did not respond, Raghunandan began to pray louder on a serious note. He started to yell, he started to cry. Hearing that the child was screaming so strongly, "Please eat the bhoga that I offered," Lord Krishna appeared in the form of a baby. He ate the laddu he had offered. Kumbhanadas returned home the same night. Kumbhanadas returned home the same night, and he asked the son to give him the prasada. And the son replied, "The Lord Krishna ate it all, so there is nothing to eat." This is Normally, we offer the food to Krishna, becomes prasadam, but the food is there, okay? But the child said, no, he ate it all. There is nothing here. He didn't care too much that his own innocence was a lie. He thought, okay, he just ate it. He ate everything, because he was hungry. I didn't give to it much importance. The next morning, Kumbhanadas prepared the bhoga again for Gopala, instructed, where am I? His son again to offer bhoga. This is the way you offer bhoga. And like yesterday, his son offered bhoga to Lord Krishna with the same intensity. Please eat it. I want you to eat it. Don't leave it here. And again, Lord Krishna, because he was kind of not bothered, but he was, this child was screaming like anything. So Krishna said, okay, I will come again and eat it, and ate everything, and there is nothing left on the plate because Krishna took it. Normally the prasada becomes prasada, and Krishna eat it by watching, because we know from the scripture that every part of Krishna's body can do everything that every part of his body can do. We hear with the ears, and we eat with the mouth, but Krishna can eat with the ears and hear with the mouth. This is an interchangeable function of Lord Krishna's. So this is how, when you offer bhoga to Krishna, it becomes prasada by Krishna watching. And then Kumbhanadas come back again, and the child said the same thing. Krishna ate it all, there is nothing left. No, at this point it became a little curious. What's happening? Surely he ate everything. The child ate everything. And this has become a routine. On the fourth day, Kumbhanadas did not leave the house, but he hid himself and to see what's happening. And then he saw his son that he was offering bhoga with a prayer that became increasingly strong, calling Lord Krishna, please come and eat my bhoga. And he saw Krishna in human form coming and eat the bhoga. Kumbhanadas did not really believe his eyes. What's happening? Krishna came and he came down from the altar and eat. This is not possible. And he came closer. And when Krishna was kneeled and he was eating, he saw his father, then he petrified himself. And this is how the Laddu Gopal deity came to be. So the child, who was so devotional, he could see Krishna coming, kneeling, and eating the prasada. When his father came, Krishna did not like to be watched by his father. He became, he petrified, he became a deity again. And this is why, how this Laddu Gopal deity came to be. And Laddu Gopal has been worshipped even today by millions of devotees all over India and also in the West. And since the moment that Kumbhanadas arrived, Krishna was eating a laddu, the deities came to be known as Laddu Gopal. So this is the third story. Now let's go to the fourth. Radhatila, Vrindavan, for us is very important. We have, or maybe had, an apartment just above Radhatila. We used to watch Radhatila every day. So I will tell you the story of Radhatila. So Radhatila is situated near Dharmasanga on the Parikrama Marg in the Ramanareti Vrindavan. It's just in front of the Krishna Balaram tree. When I went to Vrindavan the first time in the 70s, this tree was actually one black and another one white. Okay, now only the black has remained. Balaram is gone. Radhatila was a bhajana site, which means the place where a devotee does his worshipping, or one devotee called Banke Bihari Das, a very advanced devotee of the Haridas movement. 250 years ago, Banke Bihari Das used to serve Radha Krishna in this place. One day, he forgot to offer food to Radha Krishna and fell asleep. That night, a 10-year-old girl came to that place. The girl came to Banke Bihariji and said, Baba, I'm hungry. Because he forgot to offer Bhoga to her. Banke Bihariji fed the little girl and gave Yamuna water to drink. The little girl went away after eating and drinking. And Banke Bihariji fell asleep again. In his sleep, he had a dream and he saw that Srimati Radharani appeared in front of him. And Radharani said, Baba, look, I saved you from breaking your rule. You offered me food regularly, and afterward you take that as prasada. But today you forgot to offer food to me. But your Radharani herself came to you to get food and did not let your rule to be broken. I ate food from your hands and drank Yamuna water. After this, Radharani disappeared. Sri Banke Bihari Das woke up from sleep and started drowning in bliss by such a wonderful grace of Sri Radharani. He realized that Radharani resides at that place, Radhatila. Sri Banke Bihari Das started again doing his devotional practice. It's a very firm and never again fell asleep before offering Bhoga to Radha Krishna. Because Radharani has arrived at this place, the name of this place is Radhatila. Even today, many birds, peacocks, and parrots come to this mountain. Tila means a little hill, not a hill, but a little thing like this. And because many, many birds come to eat, the Bhoga gets offered to the birds, makes the form of a mound. Mound or mound, how you say that? No, mound? Mound.
Yeah, mound.
Yes, yes. And even during the time of Sri Banke Bihari Das, he was always offering prasadam to birds, etc. So he used to make a little mound on that place. And since that place was Radharani, this place is called Radhatila. And if you go to Vrindavan and you start walking in the Parikrama Marg, you see a lot of birds. And the birds, because the birds, they find food in Radhatila. And that's why there is thousands of birds all around that they chirp. It's a very beautiful place. Okay, that's it for my first answer to the 4 questions. If now it's your turn. So,
Hare Krishna, Maharaja. Last time as we were discussing this question on the difference between the false ego and can you elaborate a little more on during the call? Can you please maybe tell us a little more about that?
yes, I couldn't hear your answer, but since your question, but since I remember the answer you asked me Sunday, so that I can elaborate a little more, trying to make it a little more, little clearer. There are 2 questions here. First, what it means to be humble. The idea of being humble is somebody who is always like this, he says yes to everyone, who has no personality really, or it doesn't manifest it. I'm very humble, But then if we read Vedic literature like the Puranas or the Itihasas or all this, we find a lot of fighting and killing and all these things. So we cannot imagine Arjuna being humble while he was killing Bhishma and all the warriors. So Arjuna was not humble. This is the question. And when the guru talks, I've been talking now for 1 hour and 15 minutes. If I say something, it's because I guess I know a little more than you. So I'm not being humble because I assume that I know a little more than you. We have gurus like the Nishima Guru Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, whose people was afraid to meet him on the street. He was so strong, so powerful, and this. So he was not humble. So I think the concept of being humble is a little wider, and we have to understand what it means to be humble. First of all, there is our private bhajan, which is not just chanting. Bhajan means meditation, studying, all these things that we do in our private moment. So in that moment, if you think that you are a very powerful man, a very knowledgeable man, and then this is not good for your spiritual life, it's not good for your spiritual advancement. But if you have a service, like Arjuna had a service of a warrior, like a guru has a service of being a preacher, like a temple manager has a service of managing temples, money, people, things happening, festivals, etc. Cannot be, I don't know how to do anything, otherwise nothing gets done. So depending on on what is your service, your humbleness had to be applied in different ways. Again, if your service is just chanting Krishna in private, then you must be humbled and grass on the street. You have to think to be the last. Why? Because this way, this mental attitude helps you to chant Hare Krishna. Because when we chant Hare Krishna, we think that we are Krishna's servants. At the level of sadhana bhakti, we had to think that we are Krishna's servants. In the spiritual world, we may think to be greater than Krishna, like Mother Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj or Radharani. But in our stage, we have to think to be just servants of Krishna. But if Krishna gives us a service, and this service needs some energy, it needs some personality, then you have to do it. Okay? Then let's go to the second point.
Yes,
that you...
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry?
I say thank you. Thank you for the answer, Maharaj.
Thank you to you to have asked me that. Now let's go to the second part of your question. The second part of your question is, how can I live and operate if I think that I am a nobody, I am just a servant? How can I work? How can I serve my family? How can I make the money to serve Krishna? How can I preach? And everything, if I don't have some self-esteem, if I don't think that I'm able to do something. Then again, these two things, the right way to feel humble and be humble outside comes into the play. That if you think I am a devotee and Krishna gives me everything, Krishna gives me intelligence, Krishna gives me the words to say while I preach, Krishna gives me the personalities to be a leader in our movement. We need leaders. But if everyone is just humble and humble and humble, we don't get anything done. So the devotee has to feel the capacity to do that, but he has never to forget that this capacity comes from Krishna and not from you. The moment, and I've been a devotee for 48 years, I'll tell you, it will happen. The moment that you think that you are good, that you are intelligent, that you are a great manager, that you are a great preacher, that you are a great pujari, a great cook, everything goes south. Everything, you don't get anything done in your life. So this is a science, and the science teaches us how to have self-esteem in the right way and how to be humble the right way. And then if we understand the science, we are going to be successful Vaishnavas and devotees. Is that okay? Surely there is.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we spoke when there was a lot of noise in the teaching center, and I hate noise. I like a lot. Peaceful. Okay. Then anything else? Otherwise, we close.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I had a question regarding you mentioned the guru of the asuras. So for me, that seems like a paradox. Like, why do the asuras need a guru or like a spiritual master? What role is a guru in that context?
Where it comes power? Where it comes from? In this world, now we are in full Kali Yuga. Well, actually, we are not even in full Kali Yuga. Just 5,000 years began, and we have 427,000 years to go to finish Kali Yuga. So we are just at the beginning. But we can see how degraded people are. You see how miserable life of people are. You just wake up, go to work, come back, you go in front of the TV, and then you sleep. That's your life. That's it. This is the life of 99.9 periodic people. This is the life. Is this a life? This is not a life. This is waiting for death. And it will come very, 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 very soon. So how a person really becomes powerful in this life? The Vedas tell us how to do it. The Vedas tell us how we can live, how we become devas, how we can go live in the sun, how we can go live in the upper planets or in Vaikuntha, or the Vedas are the receptacle of all knowledge. If you want to be successful in life, you have to study and practice the tenets of the Vedas. The demons, they are demons, but they are not stupid. You know, the real demons. Of course, the demons that we have today as a president of this country, the other, they are not demons, they are just stupid, you know. But the real demons, they know how to become successful and powerful. And that's why they need a spiritual master to tell them what to do and how to do it in such a way that can become so powerful they can defeat even the devils. That's why there are always fighting between Sura and Asura, you know, because the Asura, they become very powerful. Why? Because they have a spiritual master, among other things. And this spiritual master was called Shukracharya, and is still. And every time they offended Shukracharya in a couple of, just like in the story of Yayati and his daughter, Devayani, and there was the daughter of Shukracharya, Sharmita. This is a long story, I cannot say it all. But when the spiritual master becomes offended, they immediately were losing all the wars. They completely lost every power. So that's why the demons can be so powerful, because they follow the Vedas. And to follow the Vedas, you cannot follow a book. You have to follow a person. And the person is called a spiritual master. So the demons, they have Shukracharya, and the devas, they have Brihaspati.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, we finish here. And I don't have announcements to do. Just never forget to visit our temple. Just like San Antonio has a temple, and we also have a temple. It is called ishvara.org. The difference is that to ishvara.org, doesn't matter where you are, you can continue. And nobody even know where you are. You know that I've been preaching for decades. I became preaching in the internet for decades. And very few people ask me where you are. Where you are. They don't care because I'm here. Why you should know in what city or what country I am. And when in 1 month and a half I will be gone, people will not even know that I'm gone because I'm here just like before I would be. So Krishna gave us this wonderful tool, instrument for Krishna Katha, for Sadhu Sangha, be together and talk. And someone has to be foolish if he doesn't use it. So please continue coming to our video conference. This is our weekly moment where we are going to talk about Bhagavatam and Krishna. So we have 2 devotees coming always, each for 90%, I would say. So Venkatesh and Shashidhar, please continue coming regularly. Doesn't take, even, Venkatesh was driving his car. I saw him. So he can do it. He drives his car, he listens, you watch whenever he can watch. Don't get into an accident to watch, be careful. Okay, so thank you very much. Next Wednesday, same time. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol.